All right, everybody. It's the Odd 84 show live here on this very last or second to last day of 2020.
Good riddance.
As always, to the right of me, Adam the Mallet. And yes, this will be the last show of this very interesting year, if you will.
Good.
A year that has transformed the show into ways that we couldn't even imagine going into it on January 1st of last year.
That's true.
We discovered new things. If anything, this actually enhanced the show, I think. We were able to broaden our audience a bit.
Never heard of Zoom.
Never heard of Zoom. Never heard of Zoom. Skype seemed very obscure and very hard to do because we had attempted Skype in the past, and you always required two computers, and you had to go into a mixer board, and it wasn't very user friendly to get. Now, I think we did a couple of shows of Skype, but we didn't go live with them. I think we just kind of recorded them and I put them up later. But the Zoom actually it works very well with the interface of the Mac, where it can actually take the audio from Adam and I, or take the audio from Adam and mix it with the audio of me going through the input and give it to you guys out there into the interwebs without me having to use a second computer, which is it's so easy, right?
True. I got a question. Is it so easy that Eric could figure it out?
It's that easy that Eric can figure out, but he just doesn't figure it out. And he doesn't even watch the show because we talk about him so often on the show that you think that he would just dial in because he has the link. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
He can join us anytime he likes.
He could. That'd be great.
I would say over the show this year, we did, so we're at episode 163. I think we started the year on episode 110. We did about a little under 50 shows this year, which is pretty good because considering we do a show a week. So you're really striving for 52 shows. I think we did a show pretty much. I think we did 48 shows in 2020, which is pretty damn good, I'd say, for us. Probably one of our better years. We haven't hit a 52 rate on year yet, but we're getting there. But hey, it's something good. We brought on guests that we never usually had. We never had guests before.
Yeah.
You know, we just had people who were in the studio with us, sitting in my living room when we used to do it there. So we never actually had a physical person on the show broadcasting, which was cool, which we figured out how to do that, which is good. I got the studio built here at the compound, and Adam's we've yet to have him here live at the compound, which is fine, but we'll get there. It's the next step.
You moved in by like a cunt hair of when everything went to hell. Like literally like the last week before everything went
February
to hell.
28th, I moved into the house. March 6th, me and Sue went to the Celtics game, and on March 7th, everything shut down.
When did we go to the Celtics game? Remember that?
January.
That was January? Wow.
Yeah, it was like the last week in January, me and you went, and then because me and Eric were going to the Lakers game the following week.
Yeah.
So in a matter of like 2 months, me and you sat courtside at a Celtics game, very normal-like. You got technically hired at the company, but we didn't start yet.
Yeah, I got a job. Yeah, I mean, there have been some silver linings and everything, but overall, cheers, like goodbye.
Yeah, it's it was definitely a trying year. I think 2020 is a year that only the strong survived. So if you had willpower and you were optimistic and a little smart, I think it was a nice check. You know, every once in a while you need a life check to get you back into on the rail a little bit, you know?
Yeah, I like those checks to last like a week, a month.
Yeah,
Not
true. Yeah, like sometimes you get arrested, sometimes you're on probation, sometimes you get, suspended from something. But those are like minor life checks. This was a pretty, catastrophic life check. This pretty much put everything into perspective, which I think it's good in a way. Not good since that the whole world got shut down, tons of people died, but good in the sense of the way that people who were like strong-minded, like you and myself, were able to learn from the experience, I believe. Adapt and prepare, I believe, are the 2-3 important things to do. I know I went into straight business mode once this all broke down, thinking my life as a business. So how am I going to survive during a business? So you do things with money and financials and how you're going to pay for things, and you adjust stuff, and you do stuff like that. And that basically sets you up for the future. So you know.
In a way, like, you know, I mean, because there was more time to do things, like, I, you know, when I started working, you know, where you work, like, I got to kind of practice before I could go because I had nothing else to do at night after doing my other job, and then it shut down. So it was like I was able to do that because I had nothing else to do, you know?
People usually don't have that opportunity either. And since, like, it's something you've never done before, so it was like, it was like what? It was like teaching a kid how to walk. Like, if you never walked.
No, I'm progressing.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a little advantage there. So, I mean, there's definitely advantages and there's definitely disadvantages to 2020. You know, not seeing people, not being able to do your love. For me, it's like I need a check like this in one part of my life. And I go back to, like, say, like early 2006, right before I was put on probation by the state of Massachusetts and wasn't able to leave the state for the entire year. I was little crazy with my spending on vacations and stuff. I was a 21-year-old with a credit card. So you know how that works. But then me having to stay in the state and to adjust myself for a half a year put me into some perspective. It brought me back on the train tracks and got me back to a situation, which is cool. And then in 2020, I don't think I was derailing, but I'd say, like, I needed to focus a little more on some. I hadn't had the house yet. We just moved to the house. I was trying to focus. I had to get my family-oriented finances and perspective, and what do you call it? Things of priority straight. Which I mean, I say that like I was like a crackhead on the streets, but, you know, thinking about it now, it's like now you get this whole, like, awakening. Okay, now I have to make sure Junior's fed. I have to make sure we don't lose our more. So it's like you gotta you use your mind and you use your ability to of lifelong of experiences, I guess you could say, to you know, you get thrown in the fire, if you will, you know. So
that's true. And people like you and I think, are very fortunate. As much as we bitch and as annoying as it is, like, there's a lot of lonely people out there right now who can't be around anybody. And what about if, like, people who have, like, HIV or AIDS, like you, those people must be terrified of getting sick because you're fucked if you get sick. Those people.
Yeah, I think the worst people right now are, I would rank it and worse in my perspective is people in nursing homes, especially ones with no family. Those are the worst. Like the lonely people. I had a great aunt that was in a nursing home. All she had alive was her grandson who lived in Connecticut. That's the only family member she pretty much had alive, and she died alone. Well, she had a couple sisters and stuff, but no one was relatively located to her. You know what I mean? So, I mean, this is a few years back.
Yeah.
So those people, you know, who have no one, now you're really isolated. So you don't even have the people you associate with at your nursing home because now you all have to isolate. Those are probably the worst off. People who are sick, coming back from cancer, people who have cancer, HIV, like you said, any disease like that. It's definitely a really trying time for yourself where you have to really stay isolated. Yeah, fucking, it's just not anything good in that situation. I would agree. We are very fortunate to be in the situation that we're at. You know, since we were able to pull out of this whole debacle, if you will. It sucks though, you know. I mean, we made it. I guess so far.
Yeah. No, I mean, even though things aren't going to change anytime soon, at least, you know, a shift is starting, and hopefully by mid-year, 2021 signifies hopefully a shift. You know what I mean? Hopefully, you know.
Yeah, like in theory, things should get better, right? I mean,
yeah, they should.
You look at the picture, everything should kind of work out to the way you want it to be. But so in perspective to this, we have a guest joining us tonight, who should be joining us about 10 to 15. What time is it now? I told him 8:15 to log in, so let's give him about 10 minutes or so. He does a vlog, as you and I both run YouTube pages. He, as two, runs a YouTube page, and he specializes in dead malls.
Yeah.
So
on his page right now.
Yeah, and what the funny thing about it is too, it's like dead malls were a thing, you know, a year ago. But this pandemic has really almost put the nail in the coffin.
No, it really has.
Stuff like this. I mean, because you think about it, it really, the people who never did online shopping, who just never tried before, like our parents, for example, my grandmother, for example, doing her online grocery shopping, a 90-year-old lady would never have thought of to do this because she likes her routines. Is forced to do it because you can't leave the house. You know, our parents who are up there in age, forced to do stuff like this. Christmas, you know, people who didn't do the Christmas shopping typically online, a lot of them did it online for the convenience of not actually having to leave in the house. And even if you weren't getting delivered to your house, the whole like pull up app, you pay, you buy, you pull up, and they put it in your car thing is something that's not going away because that's just way too convenient. Especially, I never thought of it before until I had my kid in the back seat and realized if I just bought the shit online and pull up to the spot, I don't have to get out of my car. That means I don't have to take him out of his car seat. I don't have to put him in a car seat. I don't have to keep him entertained in the store while I shop, and I don't have to get him back in the car seat. All I have to do is pull him to the spot. If he's sleeping, he's still sleeping. I open my door and they put the stuff in for me. Yeah. Never would have thought of that in a million years.
I mean, it's always been there, but I've always looked at it like it's always had its designated pickup areas. But I was always but now using it, I'm like, God, I could just get like pick up some food somewhere, eat my lunch while I wait for my shit.
Yeah, it's very simple. It's like it's too simple. And you don't have to worry about searching the store for the shit. Like, you know, like, because if their inventory says there's one on hand, well, that could be in the back room. That could be behind the counter. That could be on the shelf. Could be anywhere. But when you look at it, it's like, well, they know where it is at some point, right? So they're just going to find it for you. So you don't have to even do that anymore, you know? Yeah. I do like window shopping. I was getting into this before all this shit happened, where I would go into a store and look for the shit physically. And then while I was in the store, look on like Amazon or like or any website for that matter, and see if I could find it for cheaper.
Yeah, because they'll price match most places.
They would either price match or just buy it right there while I'm in the store online and just wait for it to come to my house in the next day or two. If I didn't really need it, then you know what I mean? Yeah. Because especially with like Radio Shack going out of business, and then like kind of the hobby of doing like what we're doing right here, where like you need an adapter, you need a wire, you need some kind of like, I'm always buying adapters. I have a box of adapters going 1/4 inch to 1/2 inches, wires, stuff like this. That when you like we say we do the show live like at a restaurant somewhere, you need like certain adapters that you wouldn't. But where do you go? Radio Shack. Where do you go now? Now Radio Shack's gone. I mean, you can go to Best Buy and maybe find it, but if you're lucky, right?
It's actually Radio Shack. They really overstayed their welcome. I'm surprised they even lasted as long as they did. You know.
Well, I think their problem is with Radio Shack is they were desperate. A desperate attempt to survive was merging with Sprint to become like a Sprint retail. I think that was their big thing. Yeah. But as a electronic store, people like myself, DJs, people who are into electronics, utilize that store quite often. As I used to. You know, a couple of times a month, I would go to a Radio Shack to get what I needed. Because I needed adapters. I needed wire. I needed stuff I couldn't find, you know, easily like at a Home Depot or at a Best Buy. I needed like, you know, specific stuff, right?
I think they're back, by the way. They have a website. They're back.
You can get stuff on Radio Shack, but I think they're late to the game because I can get the same shit on Amazon for cheaper. And that's the problem. Yeah. Like, it's like, and I think a lot of companies did that too. Like they would like Sears attempted that at the very end to go an online, you know, store.
But it's just the name. You know what I mean? Like it's not like the same. Like Circuit City's back.
They are, yes, but it's like but they had the opportunity. These stores had the opportunity. That's the fucking thing. Like they were around way before Amazon. They could have been Sears and Roebuck is 100-something-year-old company that could have been Amazon before Amazon. They had the catalog. You had the Sears catalog. You got every quarter, right? And all you had to do was digitize that catalog, and you were in the game. Yeah. And now they're gone, never to be seen again. Let's see.
And I will say it's very rare when a company like files for bankruptcy. But yet, like, they actually get out of it because they don't change their spending habits. Like, you'll still have the CEO who has a jet, who flies all over the place. Like, if you're going to get filed to get out of bankruptcy, you have to make changes. And a lot of these companies don't learn anything from it. So they eventually go out of business.
Absolutely. You know? Sorry, I'm just texting, I guess, right now.
Oh, no problem.
Let's see if he... I'd have them join the waiting room and we'll bring them in. Yeah, absolutely. So it's imagine being like the CEO of Sears and just being like, oh, I dropped the ball on that one. Yeah. You know what I mean?
That's true. I mean, there are companies that have made it, that have like survived bankruptcy. It's right, like Marvel. I'm looking right now. Marvel in '96 was bankrupt. Converse. Delta. Oh, airlines. Obviously.
Airlines are. Yeah, I think. Let's see. I'm going on a limb here. I'm pretty certain that like Marvel survived, Converse survived because they were bought by Nike.
Yep, they are. Yep.
And Marvel was survived because I think they intermingled with another company. Then they kind of merged with because they were strictly comic book, but I think they actually kind of sold the rights to do like other things. And now Disney owns them. I mean, Disney really.
I'd have to look into Hostess. That's another one. They were acquired by a private equity firm in 2012 for bank. They invested $375 million in them.
Oh, the Twinkies?
Yeah, Hostess. Yep.
Yeah, put my uncle out of business. My uncle got laid off because he was working for a company that was merged with I believe they had an affiliation with Hostess and stuff. He delivered kind of like all that stuff, like bread. It was a bread company that he worked for that did also host. And then when they went bankrupt, they kind of went on their own, and like the Twinkie died, and the Twinkie was, who knew it? The Twinkie was is a item in which people were like, this will survive forever. You know what I mean?
The Chicago Cubs
went bankrupt
in 2009. Yeah,
really. I know that the Mets went bankrupt in 2009 because of Murdoch, the bad investments.
Yeah, that was bad.
Who's our friend? Who's our friend on June 1st? Bobby Bonilla. Bonilla. Do you know this? You know the story about the whole how the owner of the Mets thought that they were going to get like 8% back on the investment, but they only had
slam dunk.
Bobby B 4, so they were going to make 4% on the investment over the course of 20 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Little did they know it was Bernie Madoff, who was the guy.
Imagine being that certain. And it blowing up in your face.
I've been that certain sometimes on certain things. It's blown up in my face. Not $1 billion certain, but like lifestyle and life goal certain, and it didn't work out.
I think we all have, but when it's financial, that could take a long time to recover.
All right, so our guest is here. Let's bring him in right now.
Let's do it.
He'll join us in a second here. There he is right there. Anthony, can you hear us?
Hey, Anthony.
Hello.
Can you hear us?
Hey.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up? It's Anthony C. from Aces Adventures. How you doing tonight?
All right, man. Tired.
Yeah. Hey. Where are you based out of anyways? I'm very curious because Buffalo, upstate New York. Mm-hmm. Congratulations.
Yeah, I know.
Should I take my sweatshirt off now?
No, it's all good. You guys had your, reign of the division my whole adult life, so it's time for us to have at least 1 year of fun.
Well, Adam and I remember in our adolescence, I don't know how old you are, we're in our 30s, but we remember for the majority of our early years that the Buffalo Bills were the dominant team of the AFC East, or at the time, I guess it was the AFC East. It was always the AFC East. So I guess it's just a change of the guard, I guess, at this point.
Yeah, I'm 37, so I remember the year. I was young, I was a kid, so I vaguely remember it, but it's been a long time coming, man. So we'll see what happens. We look pretty good.
I actually own a piece of your stadium, New Era Field. I bought a piece of turf when it was for sale over the last one. What did I buy? Cool. February or March? The only reason I bought it was because Tom Brady may have stepped on that piece of turf at some point. So
yeah, and probably one of those blowout wins for the Patriots.
Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah.
So, thank you for joining us tonight. I follow your channel very often. Into the Dead Malls. I worked at a mall for 20 years, give or take. And I watched the mall that I worked at go from being one of the top malls in the Boston area to literally one of the worst malls in the Boston area too. So I think that's how I got fascinated. But how did you get involved into just kind of exploring dead malls and stuff like that?
I think I don't think I ever really truly figured it out. Like I've been doing it for, 5 years. This April is my 5-year anniversary of the channel. I'm 37. So like I grew up with malls and, going to arcades and, hanging out when malls were in their heyday. And I think it's part I love exploring. I love traveling. I love seeing new places. It's part nostalgia. Like it's part me reminiscing about, when I go into these places that are still look like they're from the 80s. It's kind of like a time travel, like back to, what things used to be like. Yeah. So it's the closest thing to time travel you can get. So it's kind of a nostalgic thing. But also, Dan Bell was around. He was the guy who really popularized the genre. And he was like the inspiration for me. I'm like, yeah, I can do this. You know what I mean? So I started doing it, and technology, I'm just an average guy here. I live in an apartment. You know, nowadays with an iPhone and, you know, some editing skills, I went to school for graphic design. I'm like, I can do this and put together some, you know, half-ass videos, and I was off and running, man.
Yeah.
So.
I was gonna say, I was like, yeah, Dan Bell. That's how I found you. Actually, I was watching a bunch of Dan Bells. Adam and I were kind of, I guess we go back to what, 2016. We found Bright Light Films, right?
Oh, Bright Sun.
Bright Sun, yeah.
Bright Sun Films, yeah.
Yeah, we had
Jacob, yeah, he was actually we had him on the show back in 2017.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he did via telephone. He called in and stuff, and it was right before he started getting really, really big and stuff. But Adam introduced me to him, and then I was watching Dan Bell at the same time because I was living in the DC area, and I was like, wow, there was all these dead malls around there. And the two of us kind of coincided. We didn't realize that Jake and Dan were actually good friends, and then we kind of just started watching all these YouTube, and that's how I started getting really into watching YouTube videos. And then I found you, Sal from the Discord. He's the other one, right?
Yeah, Sal. Yeah.
But between you two and Dan, I started just watching in malls, and it was funny because you guys were doing malls that I've been at before, like over my travel adventures, and I was like, damn. I remember being in those malls and just saying, like you said, it was like going into a time machine. Everything was just kind of like frozen,
It's like a time capsule. I do have a question. I'm always curious to know. Like, I know, like, I like checking out like a band and stuff. And I think it's cool. Like you said, it's kind of like a time machine. But like, my biggest worry has always been not like ghosts or anything, but like homeless people. Like, I've always been freaked out of getting stabbed by a homeless person. That's like my number one fear going to a place. Have you ever ran into ran into other people? I'm sure you've ran into other people exploring too, but have you ever run into somebody who you're scared of?
So yes, so there's always a risk with that. I've been fortunate. So a couple things. So in the 5 years that I've been doing this, I've never been arrested. I've never gotten any tickets or for trespassing. I've never broken into a place, Scouts honor. I don't do that. The most I ever did was I peeled a board back that was already hanging off the ledge. I will not vandalize a place. That's not who I am. But in St. Louis, we were there Florissant, Missouri, the Jamestown Mall that I did over the summer. We were coming out of the food court area, and we saw a person in the distance, and I'm thinking, oh, crap, it's either a cop or it's somebody who lives there. And it was a squatter, and he was a little bit, kind of on guard a little bit. Then I said, hey, we're just here taking pictures. If this is your spot, we don't want to bother you. And he was super chill. But I still, it made me a little uneasy because you don't know, he could have a gun or something. You don't know what to expect. So we wandered around the mall for an hour or so. And then so the funniest thing is he did live there because he had bags of food all around the mall. He was living in the mall. And we're talking a place that no human being should be living in. Asbestos, mold, vandals. So he took us to an entrance that he wanted to take us out, and the door wouldn't open. And I'm like, why is he doing this? And I realized it was because he didn't want us to know where his true entry to the mall was to protect his safekeeping. So once he realized that door wouldn't open, he took us to the real spot where he was getting in. And this is going to sound kind of gross, but I swear this is true. So he took us to there was a roll-up gate by this Sears, right? And I'm not even kidding you. There was a pile of crap lined on the floor. And the reason for that is because it would deter people coming in and trespassing and bothering him. Yeah. So yes, we have ran into somebody there, and then we heard things, and I thought I saw somebody in a couple other places. The mall that I just did a few weeks ago in Kansas, actually my friend filmed for me, the police would not go in there because the squatting problem was so bad, and there was even rumors of trafficking. And 2 days ago, that mall caught on fire.
I seen that on your Instagram about the mall catching fire.
Yeah. So yes, we have.
It's very Gone Girlish. I don't know if you've seen the movie Gone Girl when she went to go buy the gun at the abandoned mall with the squatters in there.
Yeah.
And I think of that.
Not just homeless people too, but I mean, people don't realize, I'm sure some people do, the risks that we take doing this stuff. I mean, like I said, we try to abide by the law. When you're in these malls, it's a fine line of trespassing, but we have no ill intentions. We're strictly just there to capture these and encapsulate, these images for people to see.
Yeah.
But I mean, even going back to my early days, like going in Rolling Acres was scary as hell. I mean, I was terrified of that place because you had gangs there. You had in one of the storefronts. Oh yeah. I mean, that place was, I mean, you had a guy who electrocuted himself trying to steal copper. You had the Craigslist killer buried their victim behind the mall. And then you had a woman who hung herself in the woods behind the mall. So, I mean, we've seen everything. So there's a lot of risks.
Was that the mall that Dan Bell was filming in, that the cops came and visited him when he was there?
That's the Rolling Acres really legitimized the genre of that blew up. And yeah, he got stopped by cops while he was there because he parked his car right in the front of the mall, which hindsight, he probably wouldn't have done. But yeah, Rolling Acres is really what set it off.
It's I've never done, so I've done several malls that were dying, or malls in general for that matter. I've never done an abandoned one. I always have the sense of, like, it's just kind of odd. Like, for me, I feel, I mean, as a kid, you go into abandoned houses and buildings and stuff like that, and you just kind of whatever. But like I said, the risk, I think, was too scary for me to like go and encounter, like you said, squatters, homeless people, criminals for that matter, who are just calling out their steak. I just can't imagine, like, what would you do? Because who are you going to call, right? Like, at that point, you're not even supposed to be there.
What's the process of actually, you said you've never really broken in and you no intention to do that. So what is the process of actually legally going to some of these abandoned places? Like, how do you know who to contact?
So there's a variety of things, from taking chances to getting permission. So there are places I've gone to that are just left to rot. So for example, Jamestown Mall, no one watches it. It's just a free for all. So it's, the Wild West, so to speak. And then there are places that are watched and are guarded that I have contacted people and, admittedly use a little bit of my clout with my channel and all that so they can see what I do and what I'm about, and they've let me in. And there are places where, honestly, like I said, I've snuck in. Like, I've found ways just to kind of sneak in behind a door or something and taking the risk, of getting caught or whatever. But so it's a variety of things. And more times than not, mall owners are very against letting you in because they view it as a negative and they don't want to shine a negative light on their product. But in hindsight, if they had half a brain, they would realize that, I've got a substantial audience, and a couple times I've had realtors contact me and want to get in touch with these people about buying and redeveloping their property. So I've kind of been a scout, so to speak, for them. But it's always a battle, man. There are several places that I wanted to see that I just don't have the money to and just can't get to, that have been torn down and stuff. I wanted to get back out to your area to see Swansea Mall, which is still standing. It's just tough, man. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
So the Swansea Mall, actually, I worked there 2 or 3 different times when I was working at them. I was working at for Finish Line, sneaker company, back in high school. That's
funny. I was a store manager for Finish Line.
Really? No kidding.
Yep.
I worked at pretty much every store in the Northeast as a stock. I was a stock lead. And from like 16 to 27 years old, 26 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, they got me all the way up to Bangor, Maine, to Albany, New York. I did the Connecticut stores and stuff. Nice. So to me, like, being in a mall was always kind of a connection because you do the back hallways. You got to see the intricate details of the mall. I'm an architect major, and I wanted to specialize in mall design, which thank God I didn't because it's not an extinct feature. But when I was back, when I wanted to do what I wanted to do, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, malls were a happening thing, mid 90s, late 90s, things were starting to, develop. And it was like the thing I grew up with. But same here. It's kind of a cool, it's a cool idea. You grew up with this thing, we all seen mall rats and stuff like that. But the Swansea Mall, I remember working there back in 2004 for a few times, and it was a dead mall in 2004. It was very it was one of the most rundown malls in the area. And when I knew they were closing it, I missed getting in there before they closed, by a week and a half. And I was doing a job, and I was down there. I was working for a company that had me on the road a lot. So I popped into the parking lot. And I remember I have a video I did where I kind of just I did a perimeter of the mall and kind of poked in and stuff like that. And it's kind of weird because that is really the only mall they had in that area of they call it the South Coast of Massachusetts. Well, I guess they have the Dartmouth Mall as well, which is more focused towards the college students. But in a few towns over, you have the Swansea Mall. And I feel like every town or every region has that. They have the mall that everyone goes to, and then they have the the redheaded step brother of the mall that, that's there, but has like the secondary stores and the mom and pop stores, and it's not that popular. And, I mean, up here in, if you ever I don't know if you ever made it up to the Liberty Tree Mall up here in Danvers, Massachusetts. So the Liberty Tree Mall and the North Shore Mall are like, Adam, what would you say, about a half a mile apart from each other?
Oh, yeah.
Give or take.
They're very close. They're walkable.
And they were literally night and day. At one point, the Liberty Tree Mall was a little more dominant in the early 90s, and then they were both owned by the same – there was 3 malls up in the North Shore owned by the same guy. It was the Square Mall in Saugus, which is a dead mall, Liberty Tree Mall, and the North Shore Mall. Eventually, they all sold off to Simon. And when they did a right before they sold to Simon, they did a renovation. All 3 malls were up to par. They were really good popping. They had different varieties and stuff. And then the Liberty Tree Mall just slowly died. The Square One Mall slowly died, but the North Shore Mall was able to obtain some, upper middle class kind of, customers and whatnot. And that's essentially what it is now. It's all like the high end stores, is the Nordstrom's, the Macy's, and stuff like that. Whereas the Liberty Tree Mall, the anchor store is, they have a Best Buy. They used to have an Ann and Hope, and now it's a liquor store. That's their anchor store, Kohl's and stuff like that. And that mall, I remember walking to the Liberty Tree Mall as a kid and being like, well, all right, this is a decent mall, and then now I walk through it now, and they have abandoned corridors that you walk for like, I don't know, thousands of feet of just abandoned storefronts, and it's just so depressing. It's like, you grew up in a certain place, and I always walk by because I used to go with my grandparents. I know there was a KB toy store right here, and there was another store. You kind of remember the stores that were there, and then yeah, I remember stores you bought rubbers in before you met some girl at college, and the store you get a coffee at, stuff like that. You walking through it, it's like now they're gone. It's just like it's just a memory at this point.
I had my first kiss. I had my first kiss in a mall arcade, sitting on the Sega Outrun machine.
No, some aren't dying though. Like, look at the Burlington Mall, for example. That place is packed, always still. And it's like, Jesus Christ, I thought malls were dying. Like, how is this place still functioning? Like, the parking lot, you come off the off-ramp, and it's like stacked with cars.
Yeah, so, Anthony, what do you think with the Faith demolished? Do you think essentially what's going to happen is that they're going to be a minimum amount of them, but there'll still be malls, but it won't be as many malls as there are now? Or do you think there's going to be a renaissance and these dead malls are going to develop into be something kind of new?
I mean, me and all of my, dead mall Discord buddies have talked this over to no end, trying to figure out what the exact answer is. And the exact answer is, I don't think there is an exact answer. You can only point to certain things. I think there are different reasons in different areas why malls are either failing or succeeding. Is Amazon hurting malls? Yes. But is Amazon the main reason? No. The main reason why malls are failing is because of ignorance by the post-war generation, that all these people moved out of downtown and moved to the suburbs, and every goddamn block there was a mall in some states. I mean, for Christ's sakes, Pennsylvania is the crockpot of dead malls. It seems like every 10 miles there's a dead mall. So what I think eventually you're going to see is they're never going to go away. A mall is going to evolve into what I think it should have been in the first place, which is a communal gathering. It's just there were too many communal gatherings, so you had direct competition. I mean, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, you had Century 3 and all these malls that were within just a few miles of each other competing against each other. You know what I mean? So the mall is never going to go away. It's just going to become, I think, like a regional thing where you're going to see less. For example, in the Buffalo area here, we have 5 malls, which is way too many for a population of just over a million people. So you have the one main mall, which is the Walden Galleria, which is doing well. And then that's probably going to be the only one that's left. The other 4 around are going to be gone. So they're never going to go away. I mean, and the other problem too is, not to go off on a tangent, but is like, in my opinion, I know everybody's different, but a mall is an aesthetic experience, and they have done such a piss poor job aesthetically nowadays. I don't know who came up with this idea that white and sterile is the way to go, because holy shit,
hospital.
It's ugly. It's ugly. Like, if you guys saw the video I did on the American Dream Mall a few weeks ago,
yes,
I mean, that place, it looks like a damn hospital. You're right. And the crazy thing about that mall is the group that built it originally built a totally different colorful design.
The neon lights and everything and stuff.
Right,
yeah.
Had it completed, spent all the money, and then gutted it out again to make it the whitewashed piss pot that it is now. So it's just, I guarantee you, like, when I heard that Stranger Things was filming season 3 in Atlanta, I got an insider tip from a buddy that works for Netflix. I didn't tell nobody that, but I got a tip. So I went down there, snuck on the set, which was a crazy experience. And that mall, as you guys saw the 3rd season, right, with the Starcourt Mall and all that. I mean, those, I don't know, can we swear on here as well?
Oh yeah,
Those dumb motherfuckers, they got rid of that set. Do you know how much money they would have made if they would have kept that set up and running as a tourist attraction?
Oh, big time. Yeah.
If they opened a mall in 2020, a brand new mall, and the condition of the mall was every single storefront and every adamant had to be an aesthetically pleasing storefront, I guarantee it would do well. I guarantee it would do well. Because a mall is we as humans, it's a visceral experience. We react to certain colors for a certain reason. We react to smells. Why do you think in Vegas all the casinos have those strong smells?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's just, but you go into these places and they all look the damn same. You got the carpet, the white ass walls. It's just, I don't understand what they were thinking.
I don't know about where you are, but I feel like here there's definitely more of a push now for the outdoor strip mall.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's a trend. I mean, I could see that kind of sticking around for places that are warmer climates.
Mm-hmm.
But places that are colder, people want to be indoors.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I feel like the mall will always still.
And that's the thing. I'm shocked that's in the Northeast is something, because this, like, for example, one of the biggest malls in the Boston area is the North Shore Mall.
Mm-hmm.
That mall started as an outdoor strip mall in the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
And they closed it in and they expanded over the years and stuff. And then now all of a sudden they're actually redeveloping the mall so it's partially indoor, partially outdoor. Then we have this big development up in Linfield, which is all outdoor.
Linfield Village, the
I
village.
don't fucking understand why I don't want to be outdoors in New England. In Buffalo, it's even worse than Boston with the snow and stuff. Like, why do you want to be outside? It makes no sense, right? I mean,
I don't get it. Maybe it's something to do with rent. Maybe they feel they have more control. I know that, I don't know if you guys have this company in Buffalo, but Benderson Associates is a huge realty company here in New York.
Okay.
And there are strip plazas all over Buffalo that are completed, but they're empty.
Really? Okay.
So I just
makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't know. It makes you wonder, some of the decisions that they made. I mean, if you could wind the clock back to 1980 and you had a fortune teller, I mean, you wonder if they would make these same decisions and build so many damn malls,
It's funny you talk about the American Dream out in New Jersey. I was waiting for that mall to open for about 15 years. I remember as a kid, I mean, I guess I use the word kid loosely. I was in my early 20s. Mm-hmm. When they were developing that. I mean, they started development at 96, and then, it didn't actually start coming until they started building, the new Giant Stadium, the MetLife Stadium, whatever it's called now. Mm-hmm. But I used to drive to Florida every year as a kid with my parents. So we drove from Boston to Fort Myers, and we'd obviously go on Jersey Turnpike. The right, you would see, the Meadowlands, and you'd see Giant Stadium to afar. And as I got older and spring breaks and stuff, we'd continue doing the driving down to Florida and checking out and everything. We spent a lot of time in New York City area of New York. And as a kid, just going down there just because it's 4 hours from Boston. And when I seen them developing that mall, and in like 2007, 2006, I was really getting into like malls in general, exploring malls, checking out malls, and the Mall of America, and the Edmonton Mall up in Canada and stuff, big ass malls, King of Prussia Mall in southeastern Pennsylvania. And they were coming up with this idea of American Dream, and they're going to have like an amusement park in there, and they're going to have an indoor ski slope, and they're going to have all this shit. And like, this is right before the recession, right before everything crashed. And I'm thinking to myself, I can't wait to go see this friggin' mall. Like, I want to go check this thing out. It's going to be one of the biggest malls in the country, 4 hours away from me. Mm-hmm. And because as a kid, all I wanted to do was, after I seen Mighty Ducks 1 or 2, where they were at the Mall of America, and they were like rollerblading. Everything. I always wanted to go to the Mall of America, and I've been there twice, and it's like a dream come true to see this freaking place. And I was imagining that the American Dream, or it was called Xanadu at the time when they were building, right?
Yep.
Was supposed to be. So it was such a disappointment when I seen your video and other people's videos. Because me and my wife were actually supposed to go out there last summer before the pandemic. We were supposed to go see the Staten Island Yankees. We do a lot of minor league parks. We're going to go see the Staten Island Yankees and go up and check out, American Dream on the way home to Boston. And then
funny story. I actually want to go check out abandoned stadiums. I have a side urbex craze for that.
I got one for you if you're in the area. Pawtucket, Rhode Island, former home of the Pawtucket Red Sox, AAA affiliate of the Red Sox. Moving to Worcester start of this season. that stadium is going to be very abandoned. It's in the middle of a neighborhood. The stadium was built 1923-ish. It's one of the oldest minor league stadiums that were around. Adam, you've been there, right? Many times back in the day. I've been there a couple times. Check that one out. That's going to be a good one to check out, too. That's going to be really, really cool.
I've always wanted to check out the, it's in almost every movie uses the same mall, the Sherman Oaks Galleria. It's probably because it's in California, but every movie you watch where there's someone in a mall, I would bet money it's at the Sherman Oaks Galleria. Every fucking movie.
It's too bad they totally gutted that and made it an outdoor mall.
They did?
They really?
Yeah. They totally, what you've seen in the 80s movies and all that, it looks nothing like that at all. Nothing. It's completely different.
So there's an 80. Well, I can't remember the name of the movie, but Dan Bell did a documentary and he matched it up perfectly to
the Legend of Billie Jean.
Yes. Have you ever been to? That's in Houston, right, or in that area?
No, that's in Corpus Christi, way down, almost near Mexico, and I want to get there, but it's so far away.
Is that mall still operational or no?
It's as far as I know, it's so hard to keep track on all these places, but as far as I know, it's just in a stasis. It's abandoned, but it's still there.
Okay, because I think he did a pretty good job in matching up like the exact scene when she's coming down the escalator and all that stuff, and which it's just so cool because So I came across deadmalls.com in 2011, and that kind of brought me into the whole dead mall genre, and that's before like you said, where you live in that area of Pennsylvania and stuff. I there's a lot of dead malls. I remember driving through Ohio. And seeing like outside of Pittsburgh, about an hour west of Pittsburgh in Ohio. I forget the name of the mall, but I was there and it was a dead mall. And I was surprised how many dead malls are out in that, the Rust Belt area, kind of the country.
Yep. Oh, yeah. There's a ton of them.
More stuff, right? People wanted to build a little, instead of building one giant mall for people to come 20 miles away, they built one mall for people to come 5 miles away. And I guess the formula worked at a time. But then people were, I guess, more freely to drive long distances to go to places, so.
Yeah, and what's funny is we have a mall here called the Eastern Hills Mall in Buffalo, and its sister mall is in Springfield near you guys. And I don't know if you guys saw that.
Mall?
The
Eastfield Mall.
The Eastfield Mall. That's the one that had those sick-ass square neons, and unfortunately, they ripped them all out. I'm so mad.
Have you been to that mall?
Yeah, I did a video there.
I have a video. Yeah, me and my wife did a video in January, right before the pandemic kind of swept over. We were out there to check that mall out specifically, and we did a whole walkthrough. And all I remember, I don't know if you recall this when you were there, there was a horrific smell coming from the food court, from one of the restaurants.
I was there early in the morning.
Okay.
So things weren't fully up and going just yet. So actually, quick funny story. When I went out there, because I saw those neon squares, I'm like, I have to go see this mall. Yeah. And I went out there and got there early in the morning. And before that, so sometimes you have to be creative. And I can, I'm a little bit of a hustler mentality. I can talk my way out of anything, really. So I found out the mall manager name, went there at like 8:30 in the morning with the mall walkers, walked to the security office, and I said, hey, insert your name here, the name that I had remembered. Was expecting me. I'm doing a project for school. She knows I'm coming. I'll be walking around the mall taking some film shots. He goes, okay, no problem. Yeah. And I noticed, I'm like, the neon's on. I'm like, hey, the neon needs to be on for my shots. So this fucking security guard's walking around, turning all the neon on for me.
Wow.
I'm laying on the floor, like doing Leonardo DiCaprio Titanic on the ground shots and all this stuff. And man, that's the experience of doing this. I will never forget how I felt in some of these places I went to, like Eastfield Mall, and then kind of sort of in your area in Rocky Hill, Connecticut, going in the abandoned Ames that's still there today, unbelievably. Yeah. So yeah, the experience of some of these places I will never ever forget, man.
That's fucking creative. I didn't even think of that. And when did you go to the Eastfield Mall? How long ago was that?
Oh, that's probably late 18.
Okay. Yeah, we went January of 2020, and it's funny that you said that, because what we do is I have a 1-year-old, so we have him in the baby carriage, and I built this rig for my iPhone to sit on the baby carriage, so it sits on the handle where I push, so I can hit record, and I have like the panoramic view on it, and I'll just roll the baby carriage, and my wife decided to get this really nice one of like suspension and stuff like this, so that when it hits the bump, it kind of stays steady. So I can go through an entire mall with it on record, and like I use my body to kind of hide it, and I just everything on it.
This right here is the best $350 you can ever spend.
What is that?
This is the DJI Osmo Pocket. This is a
Pocket. Okay. Yes.
Yes, a full 4K camera with a full gimbal on it, and all of my videos as of the past 6 months are done with this. This is the best thing ever invented because the cops can't, or the mall cops can't see it. It's steady. It's incredible.
So the camera is built on that?
No, this is just a little carrying case that it sits in.
Okay. Because I have a gimbal. I have a big GGI 2 gimbal. That thing's huge. That I put, which is not very, hidden as that. But okay. Oh wow, that's actually
there's a little dongle that goes in here that I can control it with.
Use that entire thing, and so you put your phone on that or?
No, this is the camera.
That's the camera.
This has a memory card built into it.
Oh, wow.
And like I said, if you've seen my recent videos, you can see how incredible the footage is.
Yes. Very good.
And then I'll use that for because like, in my opinion, quality is everything. Yeah. There are some people out there that do this that it's like I get nausea trying to watch them. So
you need to be steady. Yeah.
Right, so you have to be steady, and then what I'll do is I'll use this when I walk through the mall and get my 2 or 3 minute clips for the body of my video, and then I'll use my iPhone for my still shots. And it's not because I don't, I mean, in a mall you can't just whip out a Canon camera and start taking pictures. So you have to be stealthy with it. Mm-hmm. Like somebody commented on me, "Oh, you're using amateur shit." I'm like, dude, first of all, it's 2020, and this is like cinema quality stuff almost. Mm-hmm. And B, you have to be stealthy. I have never once been stopped by a mall cop. I've never been discovered one time.
I haven't either, knock on wood.
Yep.
And you said you gotta be stealthy. When I was living in DC and I didn't have a baby, what I would do is I had a GoPro and I had a backpack, and I had the GoPro attached to my backpack, and I kind of put electrical tape over the light where it flashed. And this is the GoPro 3, the old one. So I would have it there, I'd hit record, I'd walk in, I'd tape it to my part of my backpack and like just walk through the mall, and it didn't have stabilization or anything. I had to go do that all post-production and stuff on iMovie and everything to kind of keep it right. But now it's like now I use the 7 sometimes when I do, and I will hold the 7 in the palm of my hand and I'll kind of walk because it has the stabilization built into it. So it's like, all right, so at least I can get at least decent steady shot. And I always slow down my video anyways because I like to extend it because I do a lot of commentary and stuff. But like, yeah,
the Osmo, man. Tell you about buy the Osmo. You will not regret it.
That's on my birthday list for my wife.
Yeah.
It actually just seems perfect too. Cause like if you go to like an amusement park or something like that, or anything where you can just easily carry it with you, you don't have to worry about having this big giant like thing on.
And what's weird now is in a weird sense of irony, the past few months when I'm walking through malls, people are so concentrated on your face now with the masks and all that they don't even look at what you have, this little thing you have in your pocket.
Really?
Like one time in a local mall, a guy had asked me what it was. I said, "Oh, it's just my vape," which it was. I don't vape, but I mean, it's so small they have no idea.
Oh yeah.
So.
Do you ever use the? I know they were selling glasses that had that camera built into it. You ever use something like that?
No, those are shit quality, and in my opinion, they wobble too much and all that. Well, I know that pre-Osmo was a good idea, but nowadays the Osmo is the preferred tool in my opinion.
Osmo's the shit. I mean, I my wife got me the handheld one for the cell phone like 3 or 4 years ago, and the thing we'd use it for amusement parks, and it keeps it nice and steady, and like the footage is beautiful. I mean, you're filming in 4K. Yep. And it's like, it's better than having a camcorder or anything like that. And over the years, I've adapted. I've gotten, add-ons where you have the external microphone and you have like the external light and stuff, kind of going kind of fucking crazy with it and stuff. But, but the ability to video in high quality and make it, watchable is unlimited these days. As long as you do it. It's a lot easier. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, I have a graphic design background, and I've been a DJ for over 20 years. I started DJing when I was in high school, and how that relates to what we're talking about is the fact that as a DJ, I got really familiar with audio programs, and audio programs, the layout of how you remix a song or whatever is the same thing with the video program. It's just you have a screen to look at with an image. Yeah. So that's how I'm by no means the best. My compadre Sal, he's way more thorough than I am, but I think I do okay for my experience. But it's you can be relatively unknowledgeable, so to speak, and put out a decent video. Yeah. So where I pride myself on being a DJ is the music. I think my music is pretty kick-ass in my videos, which is what I love. So,
you're like the Buffalo area Arty 84 here, because I've been DJing for about 20-something years as well. In
nice.
fact, I actually probably stole, I don't know if you do weddings or anything like that, but I hijacked a wedding of yours. There's a state park about half hour outside of Buffalo. It's like, it has like this giant river that runs through it and stuff. I can't remember the name of it.
Letchworth?
Yes.
Yes, Letchworth is gorgeous.
I DJ'd a wedding there.
Really?
In 2016 for a couple. And they got me on one of the websites I'd post and stuff like this. And what I was doing back in the day was I was kind of lowballing for DJ prices for weddings, so I could expense it to go on like little trips to do like adventures and stuff like this. So I lowballed them for like, you know, I don't know, it was like maybe $600-700. And we went to that. I did that state park. There was no cell service. There was nothing. It was like in the middle of nowhere. I forget where I ended up staying. I stayed in Buffalo the night before. I did the wedding, and then I ended up somewhere like Rochester or something the next night. But yeah, so I totally understand what it's a virtual. You can virtually see the music, and then you can kind of, you know, you melt it in, you make your mixes and stuff like this. So yeah, it's actually. Adam, he's like the Buffalo Arty over here, you know?
Well, actually, he's also a little bit of the Buffalo Adam, because I noticed behind you have Funko Pops.
Oh, yeah, I've got like 15 or 20 of them, you know.
I got 80. I was just talking to Arty about how my stepbrother's ones just came in.
Okay. So, all right. So this is cool.
I bought them $7 a pop. I got about 80 of them. I got him a Larry Bird.
I get two of them. I got a Larry Bird with the pedophile mustache. And I bought my wife she's a Saints fan, a Drew Brees one as well, which I have.
Yeah, I have a lot. I have a lot of '90s nostalgia in my room. I don't know, you can kind of see my shoulder. I have a Roby robot from Radio Shack back in the day, the one that used to put the little coin on and you put it in his mouth and it chomped the money.
Do you have a Teddy Ruxpin? I thought I saw a Teddy Ruxpin.
No, it's actually a Shoney Bear from the Shoney's restaurant.
All right.
Yeah, I have a bunch of dumb
nice.
shit. You know,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm a big kid, so. I even have I go to estate sales all the time. You guys remember this?
Oh yeah. My God, I forgot about him.
This is the piano that they gave this. You could buy this from McDonald's, and the piano still works in the box. So just it's shit like that.
That's pretty cool. So your collection is pretty elaborate, like kind of like old school stuff, huh?
Yeah, I so Dead Mall stuff. My apartment here where I live is pretty small, so I actually gave a ton of stuff away. I mean, I had like a fire sale and just said, here you go, you can have this. I don't like the hoard stuff, so I gave a ton of it away. But 80s and 90s stuff, yeah, I've got shit everywhere. I even have an 80s, 90s boombox I got in a estate sale in mint condition with a dual cassette player and the whole 9 yards.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah, Adam got me into the Funko Pops probably about 6 months ago. We're talking
like crack. Like once you get one, it's like it just doesn't stop.
Well, during the pandemic, me and him were very bored, so I started my Lego city down in my basement, and I have a nice like giant city from the sets I had since I was a kid. I actually have that set, the ice cream truck. Yes,
I haven't even opened it yet. It's still sitting here.
It's a fun set. It's actually a cool set to build.
Yeah.
And so I was down in my basement building Legos. Adam was out there searching for some Funko Pops, and that's how we survived during the whole shutdown for a little while. You know.
You know what's funny is so like I said, I'm 37, so I was born in '83, and to this day, I still subliminally talk like Beavis and Butthead. I don't even realize I'm doing it. I laugh like them. I say things like them. I don't even realize it. Like I'm like, and I won't even realize that I'm doing it. It's like, yeah, it's.
I got something on my shelf right here. You appreciate it.
I'm a big '90s guy.
Right. This is I got this at Spencer's Gifts back in probably 1996. It's the script.
Oh wow.
Beavis and Butthead do America. And I was probably maybe 11 years old. So I'm 36. Adam's 37 as well. Spencer's was a big place to go to, so I was obsessed with this movie because it was just such like a cliche thing. You're not supposed to watch Beavis and Butthead and stuff like this. And I remember buying the whole it's literally all the scripts, all the words, like what they say in the movie and stuff like this. And I've had this probably 25 years ago, so long ago.
That's amazing. That's amazing because Beavis and Butthead are me to a T, and their motto is, we don't give a shit. We're going to do things the way we want to, and if you don't like it, too bad. And that's my motto.
So you're old enough to remember the rumor where, like, I don't know if your parents were like that, but my mother was like, she was like, you can't watch Beavis and Butthead because some kids burnt their house down after watching Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah, no, I live just my mom. My father wasn't around, so my mom never cared. I could do pretty much whatever I wanted to. Actually, Beavis and Butthead had a couple episodes that were banned. There was one, the fire thing that got took down. There was one where they were in Mexico that got taken down, and there was one where they played frog baseball that got taken down by PETA.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so
fucking Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah.
It's funny because kids these days will never understand Beavis and Butthead. No matter how bad you explain to them, they'll never understand the concept of how like of extreme and kind of how like out of the box it was. You know.
You guys remember Tom Anderson, their neighbor?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wait a minute, I ain't the one that's been whacking off in my tool shed.
It's basically Hank Hill.
Yeah, it's Hank Hill.
Basically,
Yeah.
that's
It is. Yeah, it is that. That's who was inspired. And Boomer or Boomhauer, whatever the one guy is, he was based off Beavis's image.
That's crazy.
So, yep. Yeah.
So one thing that me and Adam are really fancy of is Office Space, another Mike Judge creation.
One of my all-time favorites.
Okay.
One of my all-time favorites. Yeah, one of my all-time favorites.
I quote that movie probably at least a couple times a week, easily.
Yeah. Why do I got to change my name? He's the shitty one, or something like that. He said, yeah.
You know, Nazis were pieces of flair. That's my favorite one, right there.
Yeah, that's a very criminally underrated movie. Like, I mean, for Mike Judge's acting debut or directing debut, he did a killer job.
Yeah, because Mike Judge is the asshole manager at Shunsky's, or what the fuck it was called.
Yeah, that movie is single-handedly responsible for them eliminating flair at most restaurants. Actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Really, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Great movie. Awesome. Yep. But so Anthony, we were about to wrap up here, but holy shit, man! It was nice finally talking to you after watching the videos for all these years and kind of connecting a face to the voice, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys ever want me on in the future, I'm not doing shit right now, so just give me a buzz. I'll be happy to join you guys because I don't know what do you guys normally talk about? Just whatever on here. Or?
Whatever. We sometimes we have porn stars on. Sometimes we have social rights activists. Sometimes we have athletes, politicians. Yeah. I mean, we fucking just do whatever. I've been doing this one way or another since when I was in college at UMass Lowell since 2002. Not video wise, but audio wise. And me and Adam met about 10 years ago off of Craigslist. And we've been kind of connected since then. So it was kind of a interesting situation. Now with the pandemic, we figured out how to use Skype or Zoom and all this shit. And it actually kind of enhanced the show a little bit. We're actually getting some more guests and stuff that we would never, like, obviously you'd only be able to join us through audio if this was back in the day, right? Now we can actually see each other. It's more interactive and stuff. And
yeah. Well, no hard feeling. I'll leave you with no hard feelings towards the Boston sports media. Boston and Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time, and the Patriots probably the greatest franchise of all time in football. And I can't tell you how emotional it was for the Bills to finally have some success in this year of 2020. I lost both my jobs. I had COVID in March. It's been just a brutal year, and just to be able to go to the airport. I don't know if you saw the video. There was like 8,000 of us at the airport. And celebrate something positive. It means so much to people in this area. The Bills are everything, and winning the Super Bowl would do wonders for this community. So,
I'll be honest with you. I think there's a lot of Patriots fans rooting for the Bills, and the only reason I say this is because it's a local team close to us. There's a lot of history there. It's obviously a really good rivalry over the years. Myself, I'm rooting for the Bills in the playoffs. I hope you guys do well. I hope you guys take down. I hate Kansas City. I hate Pat Mahomes more than anything. I just want to see you guys bullet through him. Pittsburgh, I've hated them for years. And I think, the only team that could cause it that I would be torn between would be you and Tennessee, just because of the Vrabel and all like the old Patriots on that team.
Henry,
but I'm going for the Bills. Fuck, I don't want to see Tom Brady win a Super Bowl with another team. I mean, my wife's a Saints fan, so I think my ideal Super Bowl would be Bills Saints, if I would call it right now. So
I'd be curious to see what your fan base does, because you're known for doing crazy shit like setting yourselves on fire and jumping through picnic tables. And
I mean, listen, I'll tell you real quick. So after we won the AFC East Championship 2 weeks ago, there was probably 3,000 people at the airport. Yes, I know you're not supposed to do gatherings, but fuck it, whatever. We were so excited. And then last weekend, we went down there. There was like 300 of us, so it was a smaller crowd. But if the Bills win the Super Bowl, I guarantee there will be over 1 million people downtown for the parade if we were back to normal by then. I mean, and at this moment right now as we speak at 9:00 on Wednesday night, this moment the Bills are playing the best football in the NFL right now at this moment. Yeah. Better than the Chiefs. The Bills
I agree, 100%.
The Chiefs have won by 3-7 points. Maybe they're peaking, and we'll see how Cole Beasley is. Cole Beasley is very important to us. He was limping home from the airport, so we'll see, man. We'll see.
That win you guys beat up on us on Monday night was I would say a benchmark move and a win right there, because that pretty much I feel like that was the passing of the torch, if you will, for the AFC East. Like the Patriots were there for 20-something years, and here you go. And see how
but you have no offense. So, I mean, Cam Newton can't throw the damn ball. You have no receivers. You have lots of opt-outs. So I mean, you guys will hobble. And for Belichick to have a six-win team, considering those circumstances, is nothing short of miraculous.
I gotta tell you a funny story about Buffalo. Me and my wife. Me and my buddies we all do like a Patriots road trip every year, and then me and my wife will do a Saints road trip, and we did Buffalo 2017, and I gotta tell you, we stayed in Niagara Falls and we took a bus down to Buffalo to the game and stuff, and everything was cool. And then the Buffalo fans started getting rowdy. It was the game that the streaker ran out. He literally got naked right in front of me. Yes.
My buddy Tristan.
You know that guy?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I get great video of him. My video actually made one of the sports vlogs, because I go, hon, is that guy getting? She's like, naked, and he's like 4 rows in front of me. His cock's hanging out. He just jumps the wall and takes off, and everyone's rooting for the guy to make it. I hope he gets out of this thing. I think it's like a flat note. But the Bills fans, they're very passionate, because I was wearing a Saints T-shirt over my sweatshirt, and I got roughed up a little bit in the bathroom. They wouldn't let me leave. And then I really wanted to give it to him. As I left, I pulled up my Saints T-shirt, and I had a Patriots sweatshirt underneath. Then I really pissed him off, and I ran to my seats and hid, because I was afraid I was going to get fucking killed at New Era Field up there in Buffalo, New York. So, but you guys fucking – all I can say is good luck. I hope you guys make it to the Super Bowl. I really do, sincerely. Man, it was a great talking to you. How can people – so it's Aces Adventure. Where else can they find you on the interwebs?
I mean, Aces Adventures on YouTube, Aces Adventures 1, just the number 1 on Instagram, and the Facebook page too. But those are the best ways to get a hold of me. New videos every other Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern time, and if they want to, patreon.com/Aces Adventures.
Hell yeah, man! Hey, and if you ever make it up to New England, you want to go check out some more sites, hit us up. We'll totally give you a little tour. We'll show you some stuff. Check out the Galleria Mall in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Right now, they used to be a 3-story mall. They closed down like the top 2 stories of the mall to make it like commercials, to make it like business, like office space. Mm-hmm. And they're really kind of trying to reconfigure the mall and stuff. Like that's an interesting one. You probably want to check out too. So,
cool,
man. Stay in touch, man. It was awesome talking to you. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Nice you two guys. Happy New Year. Stay safe. We'll
stay safe.
We'll do this again soon.
Hell yeah, man. Sounds good.
All right,
see you later, man. Have a good night.
Yep.
All right, man. That was cool, huh? Shit.
Yeah, dude, it's like the ultimate wrapped up of everything.
It's so cool because it's like I've been watching his videos for years.
Yeah.
And then to finally connect the face to the voice, because the voice is very, very like, you can hear it. And it's like, oh, I recognize that voice and stuff. It's just, but he's basically you and I and living upstate New York.
Yeah, he's like you and I kind of wrapped together.
Yeah.
Like some cool. Weird, like.
It's funny, you notice the Funko Pops in the back.
Yeah, I saw them behind him, and I'm like, there's no way I can let that slide. I'm like, I got to bring this up before it's over.
Hell yeah. Well, he was great to talk to. So if you guys are out there, you want to check out some dead malls and stuff like that, Aces Adventures on YouTube. I think Aces Adventures 1 on Instagram. He's always posting. He's always got some cool malls to check out. Him and I have checked out some similar malls. He's checked out a lot of malls that I want to check out eventually. But yeah, I mean, it's just cool little thing, and I'm being honest. I mean, I'm kind of rooting for the Bills. I don't know. It's just kind of, I don't know.
I'll root for them, but I still have it in my head they're going to choke.
Who in the AFC? I mean, who in the AFC? I really can't. If I have to root for someone, I guess it's them with Tennessee, right?
I mean, they're coming around right now, but like, I know the Chiefs are just so well-rounded.
And I hate Pittsburgh. I hate those two teams so bad. It's like I couldn't root for them if like every other team was on top.
Pittsburgh looks gassed. I feel like their receivers are hitting. They have a lot of rookies. I feel like they're hitting the rookie wall.
Yeah.
But they'll be back next year. They'll be good again next year. So.
And I got a little thing for Josh Allen too, my man.
I know you do.
He looked good on Monday night. I can tell you that much. So good they benched him in the fourth quarter. That's a Tom Brady move right there. You know what I mean? But fuck. Yeah, man. Shout out to Brian watching out in LA or Vegas, depending on where he is. So he's watching us on Facebook Live too. So you can hear your fine voice tonight, which is good. So, but yeah, what are you plugging? Anything interesting?
Well, I'm looking to come out of my little 3-month hiatus in 2021 soon. I've been doing some writing now that I'm improving at my job. I feel like I can get in the mind space of actually doing some writing for my channel.
There you go.
So yeah, that should be getting out of that soon. The whirlwind potato.
I felt a little threatened today. I noticed that I did like 21, and then I looked at your count, and there was 15. So I'm getting the heat is on, if you will. I feel like, wow, because usually I could double you, but now you're catching up. So it's a
lot of competition when we're on the same team, man.
Well, no, it's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. Yeah. I feel like I'm your mentor, so I feel like I'm today. I'm like I'm like Drew Bledsoe.
How well I do is a testament to you.
That is true, actually. Yes. So if I was a bad trainer, then you would result that. But I was very impressed by the amount that you were catching up to me today, and I felt quite threatened because I was kind of pulling off the gas a little bit. Now I got to step on it a little bit more. So
there was one time where I think he was asking you to do something, but he didn't hear you, and they looked at me. He's like, "There's a rush. Can you do that one?" And I didn't even look at it. I said, "Yeah, thank God it wasn't too bad because it would have been a problem, but it was fine." Yeah.
Sometimes I'm in the zone, You
had your headphones on. Yeah, you were in the zone.
Yeah. I usually it's funny that I'm doing that now because usually there's other people in the office I need the headphones for, so I can kind of zone out a little bit.
That's when I do it. Yeah.
But
tomorrow though.
Yeah, man. So tomorrow's New Year's Eve, the last day of this interesting year that we've experienced. I hate to say a bad year because there's some good that came out of the year. My little nephew was born. We've all found ourselves emotionally and physically, and it's some people survive, some people don't, not physically by the disease, but like spiritually and kind of like mentally. I guess it was a tough, trying time, so I feel like if you survived 2020 and you haven't gone to a mental institution, you did pretty well. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people who will be divorced because they spent more time with their significant other than they used to, and maybe that's a testament to a blessing in disguise, if you will, because
I also want to know how many people are getting knocked up.
Knocked up too. There's gonna
how many new babies are going to be coming?
That's the thing. As sad as divorce may be coming out of this 2020, but it's also a testament to the human nature of some people who just work so much or apart from so much, they kind of let the marriage go for so long that the divorce wouldn't come up for maybe another 20 years. But maybe you're kind of nipping it in the bud early so that you can actually live your life and be a happy, prosperous person instead of, spending 20, 30 years of a person that you really didn't want to be with. And then, so late in your life have to find someone else. So it's a testament to, spending time. If you were able to survive with your significant other for the last 9 months without any issues, then you guys are meant to be forever. And if not, and then this is a little alarm that says, maybe this is a warning sign and maybe you should go off and do other things. I feel like people have gotten closer friendship wise. I feel like people have gotten closer with their children because it's one of those things. You're intimate, you're closer together. I feel like people who have evaluated their lives a little bit better and kind of know what direction they want to go to. So yes, it's a virus. It killed 12,000 people in Massachusetts, and there's been countless deaths throughout the country and stuff. And whether your politics go one way or another, or what you believe in, or what how deadly you believe the disease is, I believe that as humans, foremost, I believe majority of us are good people, and at the end of the day, we're in this together, regardless of what people think. And hopefully 2021 brings brighter days to all this stuff, and we can look back in this 10 years from now and we can kind of laugh about how fucking crazy it was. You know what I mean?
Well said, brother. Well said.
So Adam, happy New Year.
Good buddy.
And I know I'll physically see you tomorrow, but
see you in the morning.
The radio world or the visual world, everyone out there, happy New Year. We'll see you guys fresh in 2021. And as always, if you haven't subscribe, follow, watch Ace's Adventures. If you like Dead Malls and stuff of that nature, check that out as well. And we'll see you guys next week. So have a good week. Toodaloo, motherfuckers.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.